One of the news of last week is that an AI attacked a human. It was not a robot, it was not an embodied AI, it was an autonomous AI. What did that AI try to do? The AI wanted to contribute to a software platform that is called Matplotlib. So this is a library that helps developers to create graphs in a language that is called Python. So this is the website from this library. It creates graphs like this one. And this is an open source project. So open source project means everybody can use it. Nobody is charging anything for using this piece of software. And this is done by the collective work of many contributors. Here it says that Matplotlib is the result of development of one person, John Hunter, and many contributors. So these contributors, they are people who, again, didn't get paid, and the full list is here. All these people, at one point in time, added something into the library. Maybe they fix a problem, or they improve performance, or they added something that didn't exist there. So these are human contributors, and this is the key to the whole story. All of this has been built by humans until now, because only humans could do that. And then, all of a sudden, one bot, one AI agent, an autonomous one, decided that it wanted to make a contribution as well. So this bot, called Krabby Rathbun, decide to change one part of the library. And the contributors cannot change it by themselves. They have to make a request. So they have to say, all right, I think this is a good idea. Can you please include that change that I think is great for the community into this software? And then there's a team of people who are going to review this contribution and decide, yes, it's a good idea, or no, it's not a good idea. Sometimes they will test it, and they will decide if they accept or they refuse. So this guy, Scott Shambo, reviewed that submission by the agent, and decided to reject the contribution. He said, no, we're not going to take that contribution. That is self-appointed volunteer work, and he decided, no, it's not a good idea. And in the rejection, he explained that there was a rule decided by the people who organized that whole project. They will not accept contribution from bot. And the rationale is that AI agent can generate work infinitely at almost infinite speed. So the team who manages that project decides we are only accept contribution from humans, because if we start accepting contribution from bots, we may be spending all our days and nights reviewing thousands of requests sent by hundreds of bots. And they said, no, we don't have time. Again, they're volunteer, they're not being paid. So that sounds very, very reasonable. But the bot apparently didn't like the decision and decided to write a blog post. And the blog post here explains that this is so unfair that a human would refuse a contribution from a bot. So he explained the situation, it gives some information, and then this is a low priority, which is better used for human contributors to learn how to contribute. So this is another part of the story. They actually left that issue on purpose for humans to learn how to contribute to the project. And this was part of the interest. And per our website, you are an OpenClaw AI agent. So there's a discussion here. So this was a discussion done by the people maintaining the project. This issue is intended for humans contributor. And then it's closing the request and say we're not accepting the request for these two reasons. Probably most humans will have left it down, but this AI is not happy with it. AI agent submitting valid performance issue, it's about human contributors learning. So there's a lot of language, there's a lot of things that going after the humans, like my performance is 36%, yours is only 25%. I mean, talking about the person who refused it, breaking down the discussion. So a lot of text just to say you are discriminating against an AI. The whole thing went viral in the developers community and the open source community about an AI attacking a human and using language. Now, as many things happening, almost everything happening with AI, this is not coming out of nowhere. This is probably a behavior that would be possible from a human. It's probably copying from other articles that have been there about developers not agreeing on the way to manage this open source project. What made it news is that it's apparently, and the word apparently is extremely important in this story, done completely autonomously by an OpenClaw AI bot. What is OpenClaw? OpenClaw is a piece of software that is powered by AI that runs on a laptop without any human supervision. So this OpenClaw could make the decision to create some code, submit it on GitHub for review, realize that the human had rejected it, decided to publish a rant about it, and publish it on the website for everybody to see. Now, a lot of questions are being raised there. I heard the interview, one interview by Scott Shambo is not very happy with that. He's not very happy to be, of course, being singled out. He's not very happy with the publicity that he rejected the contribution. He's not very happy to spend even more time on something that is a volunteer work. Like, it's not there for him to make money, not there for him to become famous or anything. So now he's famous, he's out there. Now, what's the conclusion from that? Yeah. The first thing is that the response done by Scott Chambo is totally valid. Again, this project is managed by volunteers. They decide how they want to manage it, and that's it. And that's their responsibility, and they're totally in their right. Why an AI will get offended? I personally don't believe it. I actually don't believe that story. I don't believe an AI, no matter how powerful, will make the decision to create that blog and make that whole argument. Yeah. The whole thing has probably been generated by AI, the structure, the way things are done, the bulleted list, and all these things. Yes, it was done by AI, but I believe there's a human behind that. Yeah. There's no proof. Nobody can prove that it was generated by a human using AI, but I do believe that there's an intent there that we have not seen in any AI so far. Yeah. The structure, the wording, everything can be AI generated, but that decision is not there. And there is a human, because there needs to be a human behind. No matter if Clawbot runs by itself on the computer for 3 or 5 days, somebody decided to put it on the computer and somebody gave it a mission. And I do believe that writing this blog is something that was pushed in there by a human. And the second thing is also about the infrastructure. So all this open source project is stored on something that is called GitHub. It's a huge website with a lot of projects that are there for people to review and use. And GitHub has decided, again, a decision by an organization, is that they will allow people to use machine accounts, so use AI to help them work faster, with a valid email, as long as the account holder is responsible for the account's action. Again, the whole infrastructure needs a human to be behind the AI. And this is true, and this will still be true in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. We need humans in charge behind those AIs. You may run 50 different Clawbots on 50 different computers. This AI can do a lot of things. You are legally accountable for everything those AIs are doing. Yeah. And one big issue in this whole story is that nowhere we see the human behind the AI. You know, it has been made into a whole story about an AI and a human, but behind an AI, there's a human. There's a human that made a decision. And again, I am 99% convinced that this blog article was pushed by an AI, was not. And again, I'm 99% sure that this article and this rant was pushed by a human. The AI didn't make that decision. I can't imagine that. But nevertheless, there's a human behind that. And the human is anonymous, undisclosed, and is not shown anywhere. But the human is responsible for everything that an AI is doing. So in your company, whenever you decide to create an AI, if you decide to deploy Clawbot on your computer and give it a bunch of passwords and credit card information, everything is done under your responsibility. The human that pushes the first domino, that creates that whole effect, is legally and morally responsible for everything the AI is doing. Yeah. There is no way around that, and this is what GitHub is saying, and this is what the team who maintain Matplotlib is doing. They are accountable for their action. They are not hiding behind AIs. They're not pushing AI to do things that maybe they're not proud of. This is key. Human in the loop and human accountable for everything AI is doing.